Every single day, the media was telling people she hates black people.
Yeah, that wasn't the media. That was you, actually. That was you. Yeah, you. That wasn't the media. That's a nice try, though. Hey, shout out to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled. It's been quite a year for one Candace Owens. There was drama at the Daily Wire.
Jeremy, the God King of the Daily Wire, announced that the Daily Wire and Candace Owens have parted ways.
There was drama at YouTube.
Candace Owens announced she was suspended from YouTube for a week after interview with Kanye West, which YouTube removed for violating hate speech policies by promoting anti-Semitic claims, specifically that Jewish people control the media. Owens blamed the suspension of Zionists, stating their tactics never change. Owens revealed that YouTube also demonetized her account, which has 2.4 million followers, and received 3 back-to-back content hits within minutes.
There was drama at the border.
You're trending Australia. You're banned from Australia. Your visa's being banned. Do you want to comment? I mean, literally, it was unbelievable.
From multiple countries.
Candace Owens has been barred from Australia and New Zealand for a speaking engagement because Candace was scheduled to speak at a series of events in February and March of next year, and she was refused a visa to enter either country.
It got so bad, she came back hat in hand trying to play footsie with black media like, hey, big head.
I do think black Americans are intentionally manipulated emotionally by the media and, you know, kind of kept dumb but emotional intentionally by the school system. And I started reading up on like Thomas Sowell, Shelby Steele, a bunch of black scholars that I originally had dismissed as Uncle Toms. And, you know, irony now is I get called an Uncle Tom all the time. So I got what was coming.
Does that bother you that people call you an Uncle Tom?
No, not at all. First off, because if they read the book, Uncle Tom was the hero.
Now that went poorly, but after the litany of rejections that she has suffered since, she has made it clear that she is in fact here. Candace Owens is here to save black America.
I actually need to edit the record already because I think when I went on the Breakfast Club, I said nobody in black entertainment has ever invited me on because there was this rumor that like I was just not doing black media because I was scared to.
Right.
But the truth is, in retrospect, after I did the show, I was like, except Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon actually was always in touch. We always tried to make it happen. You were probably the only person in black media that always had an invite out to me.
Yeah, Nick, we gonna have to holler about that. Yeah, we gonna have to holler. We gonna have to holler about that. And no, it was not a conversation that you were scared to. We just didn't want to platform your rampant anti-blackness. I can't imagine why black media wouldn't want to put on this.
I'm gonna now code switch. You know, let me talk to you about Kamala Harris because she is my girl. You know, these streets is talking, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm finna go vote for Kamala Harris right now. So I just want to make sure my black listeners know that they should vote for her. And apparently the only way they can understand why they should vote for her is if I speak in Ebonics. So again, I'm going to just keep that going. Girl, whew, thank goodness we have upon us a strong black candidate. And
the only reason why is because, like, and I don't know what it was, and we're definitely going to dive into this, but it's like, I feel like everyone had you pegged the wrong way, and I don't know what it was. I mean,
no, we had her pegged the right way. Yeah, we had her pegged the right way. We had her pegged the way that she had herself pegged. We literally just watched the stuff that came out of her mouth, and that is how we based the pegging. Hopefully I don't use that phrase again. Put the dictionary down. No, put the dictionary, not now. Just not now. Now, my mother has been on me to find where I can agree with people and find similarities. So I'm trying to be a better man. I tend to have been on her side with regards to the Daily Wire separation. And quite frankly, she had Nick Cannon in quite a trick bag.
And not the one,
but
not
what
the fantasy land
what
that
if
they're creating
someone
for their
believes
lives.
that is a better life for them?
Okay, well, let's play it your way then. Let's do it the other way. There are a group of people who are now referring to themselves as attracted people.
Oh, I knew you was going. Can't go there.
Hey, but that's what they believe. They believe that they are in love and want to have children. They believe that, Nick. They believe it. And are you going to apologize when you call them? Are you going to apologize, Nick? Are you going to have them on your podcast?
It's a hell of a
Don't you
point.
understand how they feel on the inside when you say that they can't with 8-year-olds?
That is a hell of a point.
Is that enough? That's enough agreement? Okay, so we good, mama? All right. Well, everybody knew it was just a matter of time before she went ruckus.
Every single day, the media was telling people she hates black people.
Yeah, that wasn't the media. That was you, actually. That was you. Yeah, you. That wasn't the media. That's a nice try, though. What was this the media?
If we're hanging in the wrong crowd, doesn't matter. If we're actively helping our boyfriends move drugs, which is what Breonna Taylor was actually doing, it was not an accident, okay? She was knee deep in drugs. He was not being pursued in the video, obviously. It looked like he was running towards the car. And then when the two people who had guns, he went around and he attacked the person. I feel no compassion whatsoever for Jordan Neely. Let's make that clear. And some of you guys are watching this and you're going to say, well, of course, Candace Owens feels no compassion for him because he's a black man and she never defends black men. No, I never defend black criminals. Our biggest problem is us, okay? It's why we don't talk about it when black on black crime happens. I had white people coming up to me with tears in their eyes. And I told Kanye this, tears in their eyes saying, thank you so much, as if they're the forgotten people, for just allowing us to have our voices back. They've been sitting in silence, completely sidelined, told that they are not allowed to be American because there's a vicious narrative around that somehow black Americans are suffering from policing and therefore white lives can't matter. They do. It's obvious. Kanye was correct, right? So when I cover black people on the show, I'm typically covering them because they are doing something that is idiotic.
Yeah, I didn't see the media talking at all during that. That was straight Candace Owens. Hey, baby. Yeah. No, I found out whose earring that was that you found. It was the media. I think the media, the one that messed up the whole college football playoff. Actually, that's accurate. I think the media did mess that up.
And sure enough, Black America bought it. This must be a girl who wants to help create a society that she can't live in. I mean, it's so foolish on its face that you would think, okay, no, why would any person want to be like, hey, I really want to bring back white supremacy. I just want to make sure that like I'm segregated across the street from you. Like your common sense should come online, right? But it doesn't, because that is studies that have been done into how you can infiltrate somebody's psyche.
Now this is a line of logic that she uses often. Why would I want to create a world that nobody else can live in? But yet at the same time, wasn't this you talking about LeBron?
That's one of my biggest gripes with people like T.I., with rappers, with people like LeBron James is
what do you mean?
And what I mean is that they're saying stuff that does not actually reflect the reality that they're living in, because they feel that in order to be accepted into culture, they have to pretend. And I'm not saying, I'm speaking specifically here, like, you know, when LeBron James tweets something like, we can't go outside, you know, like following the shooting, I don't remember what shooting it was, but he tweeted like, we can't even go for a jog. I think it might have been Ahmaud Arbery. Right. And I look at that tweet and I say, who are you tweeting this for? Because you live in a $100 million house. You don't even touch your own door handles. You haven't for a very long time. Actually, the majority of your life.
But he's still part of the collective.
But that is the problem, right? So the problem.
He's still a black man.
But he is a black man, right? But we are not collectively all living the same experience and having the same experience. So what he does is he plays a part.
Huh? Wasn't that you talking about? Yeah. That was you talking about his reality. So what is your reality looking like, Candace? Because it's not really looking a whole like a lot of the things that you like to talk about, a lot of the things that you find yourself so knowledgeable and educated about. That doesn't really coincide with the reality that you are living in. The reality that you are living in is one in which you are unique, and you ensure that it is as hard as humanly possible for there to ever be another Cocoa Puff in that milk. This isn't like a completely foreign mentality. I went to prep school. I know some of y'all quite well. You know who you are. You know who you are. Just wait till reunion. I'm showing you this clip from this video.
If it was a little clearer for Black America to know that, like, no, she's actually speaking the same ideas of a Malcolm X or ideas of like the strength of what we've been through. So therefore now we have to, you know, even it's probably more on the Booker T. Washington approach more than the W.E.B. Du Bois approach. But it's like, look, we can build our own. We don't have to be victims. And I think probably during that time when you were having, you know, going back and forth with BLM, I think it just was so, the tension was thick. So that I think they were missing the message that, yo, you can have a different perspective and still be on the same mission. You know what I mean? Because I think ultimately we are Black in America. So it is what it is. There's no hiding that. Right. But it's like there's multiple ways to kind of operate. And I always, you know, like I said, I believe there's a lot of people who have the Du Bois mentality, and there's a lot of people who have the, you know, bootstraps mentality that Booker T. Washington was talking about. And I feel like the ideas of conservatism are really more rooted in how we all kind of, as traditional Black people, come up.
Get out. Yeah, Nick, get out. Get out. Malcolm X. Let me ask you this. Did Malcolm X have a victim mentality when he was calling out the current status of Black America and how it's been treated by America? Did he have a victim mentality? Did he? Okay, so what level of struggle do you need to be at to have the victim mentality? Like when you're commenting on the current status of Black America, at what point is it a victim mentality and at what point is it activism? Feel free to get back to me and let me know about that, Black conservatives, because you seem perfectly fine taking advantage of the freedoms that have been afforded to you by your ancestors who apparently had a victim mentality. So by virtue of them commenting on their current they apparently had a victim mentality, or maybe they didn't, and we have it today in commenting on the current status of Black America. Because I'm just trying to figure out what point it crossed from activism into victim mentality. I'm just trying to figure that out. And when you get back to me on that, comment to me about your current existence, okay, your current reality as Black conservatives, and how you apparently don't have a victim mentality by virtue of your persecution complex. Yeah. Oh yeah. And by the way, it is quite ironic that Nick Cannon mentioned Booker T. Washington, because I feel like Booker T. Washington came up recently, didn't he? He came up. Somebody else mentioned his name.
As Isker and Ingle see it, the only people who have a legitimate right to a homeland here in the U.S. are those so-called heritage Americans, like the ones depicted in those Norman Rockwell images from the past.
I would imagine in most of those Norman Rockwell pictures, there aren't any depictions of people who look like me.
We showed Nashville pastor Chris Williamson some of Isker and Ingle's own words, in which Ingle says his concept of heritage America affirms the domination and preeminence of European-derived peoples, their institutions, and their way of life, although he adds that his term also includes the blacks of the Old South.
According to them, if you are a descendant of slaves, you get to stay.
So they're defining my legacy, my entire legacy, really on slavery. I get to stay, even though I was brought here against my will and treated horribly through chattel slavery for nearly 250 years, but that's my heritage.
Even then, Ingle writes that his acceptance of Black Americans is on the condition that they don't try to leverage their experience for the purposes of political guilt.
We are owed certain things. We do need certain things, but I do kind of feel like it's almost this, I don't know how to say it, like, because you put it as a victim mentality, right? But because the truths are the truths. We see where it's harsh, and we see that this system was not designed for us to win, but it's not really designed for anyone to win except for that top 3 or 1%. So,
and yet, remarkably,
right.
And this is the thing that I can't understand, because it's a paradox.
Yeah.
Black America will say, this system wasn't built for us, and yet they insist on more system. right? The first thing they do is say,
Right.
we need reparations. Well, how's that going to happen? We need more government. And I just go, have you paid attention to anything that has happened in this country?
Right.
Have you paid attention and gone backward and understood how you got into this predicament? How you could possibly think it's almost an abusive relationship. Like the solution is I just got to go back to that person that just keeps punching me in the face. That's where Black America is at right now.
Oh, okay. So apparently we need to be operating outside the system. Yeah, we need to get our doomsday prepper thing on. We get off the grid. Yeah, get off the grid. That's we gonna start living off the land. Start getting some of that land out in Montana that the white supremacists got. That's because that's worked out real well for them. So we apparently that's the move. That's the move. And the irony too, being that this is coming from a bootstraps conservative, right? This is coming from a bootstraps conservative telling us that solution is not more system. That's fascinating. Candace Owens is that friend that will just make fun of you for anything. Look at him, he got an umbrella in the rain.
I've studied the history of psychology, that it was nearly impossible for Black Americans not to land up on the left-leaning side, not to believe that, white people were their number one enemies. They sat down and thought, you get these people into public school and we will fill them with garbage for the first 18 years of their lives, right? So that's hard to undo.
Are these Black Lives Matter charter schools, or I'm trying to figure out what schools? I don't know, like what schools she talking about homeschools right now? I'm trying to figure out where that happened because I wasn't mentioned at all when I was mentioned for 1 month a year. Okay, it was Black History Month, 28 days. Which if you count weekends, was about 19 classroom days that I was mentioned at all. So I'm trying to, were you homeschooled by Black activists? Is this all some sort of extended teenage rebellion? Oh, you just making stuff up? Okay, all right, I figured that makes more sense.
To recreate slavery and not even have Black Americans know that they're slaves. The perfect slave is a person that doesn't know they're a slave, right?
Hit it on the head.
And that's Black America. Black America will literally say the absolute most about how bad government is while insisting that we have more government. Like welfarism did this to Black America. It is a fact that in the 1950s, under Jim Crow, that Black Americans were outpacing white Americans in terms of growth.
Here they go with the Jim Crow line again. Now, I personally feel a lot more security going through the hard way around, but knowing there actually should be some level of justice, should they come in on some vigilante mission and burn my stuff to the ground and threaten, maim, or worse, me and my family. Might be more some more harsh economic conditions to have that security, but I think I would go with that one. Call me crazy. You know what I mean? Call me crazy.
That's why most people have fond memories, and I could be dating myself right now, but I'm 35, of your grandparents, like better values, going to church. My grandfather started a business despite the fact that he started on a sharecropping farm. Faith was at the center of the family. And then you go, what happened? Well, what happened was, despite there being Jim Crow, or because of Jim Crow, Black Americans couldn't rely on government.
Who I bet got fond memories is the Tulsa survivors. I bet they got some fond memories. Yeah.
Being that when your back is against the wall, you will fight, And so then LBJ, who was the most racist president, I mean, this man was dropping the hard R-N word for breakfast every day. He hated Black Americans. And yet, we learned in public school that he was our savior because he inked the Civil Rights Bill.
But he had to. That wasn't by choice.
Literally, he had a figurative gun to his head. And there's more stuff that he did in terms of trying, the draft, wanting Black Americans to die first in Vietnam, because he was so committed to racism. And he said, signing this, I'll have these N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years.
I have actually spoken at length about LBJ. There's a whole video on my members page all about what presidents have been the best and worst for Black America. So apparently we were supposed to reject the civil rights legislation because he dropped ends. So I guess we were supposed to wait for them to, of their own free will and out of the kindness of their heart, stop dropping ends in order to accept rights. I guess is that where we at? Otherwise, I don't understand the relevance of what you're talking about. While we're on the topic of LBJ, this seems pretty relevant. I've only used it every week this year. And by the way, Republican Party, you were free. We're talking about the middle of last century. You have been free for the last 70 years to provide some sort of incentive or carrot to change that fact. And what have you given us? An assault on said civil rights, an assault on voting rights, and an anti-DEI legislation, while calling us all DEIs. That's your carrot.
He said, signing this, I'll have these N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And in one fell swoop, he signed welfareism in.
Yeah.
And that's what broke down our families. That is the pipeline
Took the black
to prison.
father out the household.
Yes.
That's crazy. So you mean to tell me that they forcibly removed all of the black fathers through welfare? Is that? Oh no, that would be the criminalization of blackness and black, which by the way was not a specifically Democratic thing, and by the way, something that the Republicans have adopted ever since the Southern strategy. Are we gonna be honest at all?
The denigration, and that is why I think actually I've landed better amongst black males than amongst black females, is because I understand that the denigration of the black man is a big piece of this, right? It was intentional, it was targeted. And media plays a role in this, hip hop plays a role in this. All of this is by design, it's not by accident. And it's just so foolish to think that the solution is gonna be the very people who sat down and put together this Machiavellian plan.
Now, who exactly are the people who sat down and put together this Machiavellian plan? Who exactly is that? Because you seem to be very squarely focused on the Democrats, which we can have a conversation about Democratic culpability and all of these things, but when you are going to extricate conservatives completely, specifically when it comes to mass incarceration and our criminal industrial complex, you lose all credibility. So what we doing?
This is deeper than just two sides. Like, it's real spiritual warfare going on.
Right.
And you have to figure out through the manipulated entertainment that we call media is, but you're right there in the center of it. And people are probably trying to use you constantly. And when they can't use you, they want to silence you. So how do you deal with that?
I've never had an issue, and I think this just boils down to character, and I do think that it could be genetic. I think I really am like my granddad's granddaughter. He passed a few years ago, but I have never struggled with going the way of the truth. Like, I genuinely, there could not be an amount of money offered to me that I would say something that I know to be untrue. If I was willing to do that, which to me is quite literally selling your soul.
Right.
I think when you tell a lie, it does something to you, right? Spiritually.
Yeah.
I would much rather. I've always been this way. I'm too honest. Is actually what my problem is. Like Kanye once said in a song, "I suffer from realness." That line hits.
Right.
I'm like, I actually suffer for it. Like, if I could just shut up and peddle the lines and let everybody do the thing and Black Lives Matter and George Floyd, God, my life would be so much easier.
If only I would have used all my common sense and said the thing and tried to find the truth in the muddy water that most people find themselves in. My life would have been so much easier. Cause really gaining all this riches and fame and notoriety and being elevated and pointed to by white supremacists everywhere as an example why they never have to change has just been awful. Even got minor royalty out here throwing me up and embracing me because I am such a powerful force for the status quo. I hate it. And then I have to see all these sons and daughters come from behind me on social media in the Black conservative space and watch them get elevated. Do you know how it feels to be this confused at a Black church?
My life would be amazing,
Right.
but that's not the path for me.
Yeah, her life would have been amazing. Let's look at this struggle she got going on. Yeah, that looks horrible. I'll be honest. I actually meant that. That wasn't sarcastic. That actually does look horrible.
If I do something wrong, I always tell on myself instantly because I don't like the feeling. Like it feels cancerous to me. I do think that lies build up in your spirit like a cancer.
Right.
And so it's shocking to me when I see people commit themselves to that for comfort, because maybe you feel outwardly comfortable, like maybe like the house is bigger and you're getting more money, but inwardly you have to be dying. When you know something to be untrue, worse than that, not only do you know it to be untrue, but you're then dragging people into a pit of hell.
Yeah, she said it, not me. Yeah, I didn't have to do nothing. Nah, my work here is done. I ain't seen a self-indictment like that since Marion Barry. But we came back for him. I want to thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Now, I get asked all the time how people can help out. One way is by joining. The link to membership is in the description box to all the videos. But if you actually want to get more hands-on involved, I happen to be adding to my team. So if you have any experience, whether it be research, technology, editing, especially if you can edit, go ahead and send me an email to reese@reesewaters.com. Just put in help wanted or help a brother out, or let me hold a little something to the 15th. Just let me know in the subject heading that you are here to join the team. That would be greatly appreciated. I also want to send a shout out to all of the active members that we have right now. You guys have been phenomenal. I'm going to be ramping up in the new year, whether it be hot waters or running waters or waters under the bridge. We're going to be trying a whole lot of new stuff. Speaking of which, there's that whole second channel, you know, that whole meditation and mindfulness project that I've been working on. We gonna need that in 2025. We definitely gonna need that in 2025. All the more reason to add to the team.